Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining me for my review of the 1979 horror science fiction classic Alien, directed by Ridley Scott and starring Tom Skerritt and Sigourney Weaver. And Sigourney Weaver in this film plays the character of Ripley, who is definitely one of the more iconic movie characters of all time, in my opinion. And it all starts right here in Alien. Just one more note, there are two versions of this film. There is a theatrical version, which I am reviewing here. There's also a director's cut, which is similar but has a few different scenes. But in this review, I will be talking about the theatrical version release of the film. So, if anyone doesn't know, the main plot of Alien is pretty basic, actually, proving that basic plots in films can work if they're executed correctly. Basically, a crew going back to Earth in space investigates a distress call, or what they think is a distress call, and they find out they are not alone. That's where we get the title Alien from. I do feel like Alien deserves pretty much all of the accolades it gets. It is considered an all-time great film, and I can't really argue with that, and I will go into some of the reasons why at this point. So, like I said, Alien is a great blend of science fiction and horror. This is one of those movies that's definitely a slow build. Alien arguably only has probably really about an hour's worth of plot, and normally that would be a problem for me if you've ever watched any of my other reviews. But in this case, the slow build really works, and the atmosphere and tension are so good in this film that it never really feels that repetitive. I am okay with the almost 2 hour running time. And some of the reasons for that basically come down to the visual storytelling. Alien was nominated for 2 Oscars. It won an Oscar for Best Visual Effects. It was also nominated for Best Production Design or Art Direction back then, I believe, as it was known. And it holds up really, really well. The production design in this film is absolutely amazing. The effects hold up well uh, from a modern standpoint as well, in my opinion. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Ridley Scott understood as a director to not overdo showing the alien in this film. The alien really isn't in this film all that much, but the tension and the feeling that the alien is always lurking around is what really works in this film. I really think a lot of other films in this genre that don't succeed could learn a lot from watching this film, or maybe they did and they just couldn't pull it off. Who knows? So the great thing about Alien is there is a lot of really good visual storytelling. There is dialogue in this film. It's not a silent film, but at times Alien almost seems like a silent film. Another reason for this is that Jerry Goldsmith's score is really, really good, and sound is used very interestingly in this film, but also very effectively. There are a lot of quiet moments in Alien, really, where all there are is very subtle sound effects. The film really knows when to build up the sound and when not to. I would say sound is just as important to this film as the visuals, and this is a great example on how to use sound correctly, in my opinion. Basically, nothing is overdone in this film. When the alien needs to be shown, it's shown. When the alien doesn't need to be shown, it's not. It's that simple. When the sound needs to be, loud and menacing, it is. When it doesn't, it's not. There's a perfect mix of everything in this film. Now, unfortunately, I do have one issue with Alien that keeps it from being an all-time great film for me, and that is characterization. The character of Ripley, while more developed in future Alien films, is developed enough for my satisfaction here. And there's also a supporting character, Ash, who is interesting enough and gets some character development. Unfortunately, all the other characters in this film are pretty much one-dimensional, and they do feel a little bit like stock characters. Feels like you could interchange any other characters into this movie and they would serve the same purpose. The other side characters in this film are really just there to further the plot and really don't add anything as individual characters. Now, in a film like Alien, that's, not a huge character building film, it's not the most important thing in the world. The film, isn't killed. It's still very watchable. Even with this slight problem, others might find it to their satisfaction. But for me, I would have liked to care a little bit more about the other characters with the situations that are going on. But like I said, overall, Alien is a great film, deserving, of its reputation and status. If you're into suspenseful horror or just great science fiction films, Alien is definitely an essential must-see film, and I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. This is also one of those movies that takes place in mostly one location and does a great job of using that location, to the full capacity available within the film. So I'm going to give a 4.5 out of 5 to Alien. I highly recommend it. And I will be doing a review of the new Aliens film, Alien Covenant, also directed by Ridley Scott. When I go to see it, I think I will be seeing it within the next couple weeks. I don't have an exact date, but you can look for that soon. And as always, thank you very much for watching.